Good morning, everybody. My name is Tristan Folks, and today I am heading out to the Crackle Barrel 400 at Nashville Superspeedway. So I am currently on my way right now from St. Louis to Nashville. So I'm very excited for this race today. I wasn't able to go last year because I was traveling for Copa America, so I ended up missing Logano win that race ultimately. But you know, that's okay. So today should be a good one. We set the NASCAR In-Season Tournament field, 32 cars, and it should be fun. We're gonna go into our 3 objectives that we've been doing since Talladega for each video before the race. The first one is to order breakfast at Crackle Barrel, which is the race sponsor. The second one is capture Broadway in downtown Nashville, as 2 of those honky tonks are sponsoring race cars today. And 3, walk in the mall at Opry Mills without saying a word back to anyone. That one is a little funny. They have people who try to talk to you there like crazy. We're gonna see if I can walk that entire mall without saying a single word. So with our first objective, believe it or not, we're already here. So this is Mount Vernon, Illinois right now. So I already put in an order, so we're gonna go pick it up. All right, so we are back. We ended up getting the order. As soon as I got in there, it was ready, so it worked out perfectly. And then we'll show you what I got. All right, so here's what we got. We got the scrambled eggs, we got the bacon, and then we got the 3 pancakes. We ended up getting the Mama's pancake breakfast. That is my usual every time I come to Crackle Barrel, so we're gonna eat up here. I know people love seeing me eat. That is crispy. All right, before I engulf this, cutting pancakes is like a work of art. Here are my cut up pancakes with my syrup and butter all over it. I don't know how y'all cut up your pancakes, so feel free in the comments to share how you do your way, but that is my way. Is there the way? Who knows? All right, that was great. We're gonna get ready to continue driving. We are going to need to stop for gas on I-57 before we get on I-24. Not really going to capture much of the drive because I did that back in February when I was on my way back to Florida for the Daytona 500. It was a long journey to say the least, but it was a fun one. All right, we are at our favorite destination. We've been here in a video before. We are at the Love's Travel Stop. We are currently getting some gas, and then inside we're gonna use the restroom, get a drink. If you haven't seen my travel videos, when I stop at gas stations, I like stopping at the Love's Travel Stops. Personally, you've probably heard Clint Boyer say that in a lot of Fox broadcasts. I've heard him say that at least 4 times this year. So yeah, overall it's a good place to go, get some gas, relax, take a rest. Pretty much you can do literally anything here. So if you're ever on the road, go to the Love's Travel Stop. Alright, so I ended up getting a prominent eye spot this time around. So on the other end, just wanted to highlight, I ended up watching the rest of the NASCAR series on Netflix from the 2024 playoffs. Very good, especially how it ended. Totally not biased. And then on Amazon Prime, I'm watching the Dale Earnhardt series. I'm only 1 episode in since I've been busy, and the other episodes just recently came out. Like said, I'm not going to capture too much of the road trip, probably just a couple state signs. We're going to get into Tennessee, and once we get into Nashville, because we do have our second objective to complete. So we got a little bit of time to travel, over 2 hours, so let's get these 2 hours done with. fun going through there just now. I didn't even know there was a Raising Cane's. I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe it's new, but now we are heading to Opry Mills for the true objective of the day. It will be a challenge, but we are gonna make it through. Alright, we are walking into Opry Mills. Once I walk into those doors, I cannot say a peep or anything. Yes, we did get called by a few people, and you know, you just gotta look like you got a purpose. So that was the difference maker, because the other 2 times I've been in Opry Mills, I have been bombarded. They try to convince you at the kiosk that you probably saw in the video. At the end of the day, we are winners today, and they just try to sell you their product. But this time we just decided to walk with a purpose, so that's why this one was a little of a challenge. But all seriousness, go check out Opry Mills in Nashville. Massive mall. There is something for literally everyone. Like, I am not joking, even though we just walked through there and got nothing. But anyways, now we are heading to Nashville Superspeedway. Alright, it is now time to make our NASCAR fantasy picks, as I have arrived to the track after dealing with the worst traffic in the world. So first off, I'm going to have last week's winner, Ross Chastain. The last time I was here, Chastain also ended up winning here, so maybe he'll end up winning again. That'd be cool to see him go back to back. So I like his chances. Fast car. The next driver I have, this one is Brad Keselowski. Last year, he did really good. He finished 5th in both stages and just didn't get the finish. This year, he looks really fast as well, so I think the 6th car is a top 5 car, which they did show that all over the speed charts. My next one will be Ryan Blaney. I have to start taking some chances here, and I think by the end of this race, we could see Blaney overall contending for the win. He is somewhat pressured to get a race win right now and just get the monkey off his back, so we're going to go with Blaney. I like his long run speed, which is the Y. My next driver I have in the lineup is the pole sitter, Chase Briscoe. Comparing Bristol, how he ran, he did really good over there. We have another concrete track, so I think that 19 car will get a top 5 finish. He also finished in the top 5 last weekend, so they got that momentum. They're looking good. And the other driver I have is the number 45 of Tyler Reddick. Maybe the best car on the track, didn't have the best qualifying run, but Tyler Reddick should have won this race last year for sure, no doubts about it. So this is going to be his chance to get his redemption. So in the garage, I'm going to explain this one. I have Chase Elliott right now. but Denny Hamlin was originally in that slot, and I learned if Denny Hamlin ends up leaving the race to go back for the birth of his child, you get 0 points if he leaves the race and Ryan Truex takes over. So we're not going to take any stupid risk. So in the garage, it's going to be Chase Elliott. He has some really good speed, starting a little back, but I think he'll find his way up to the front for sure, and the car will get better as the night goes on. For our matchups, the first one we have Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott. Since I have Elliott in the garage right now, we're going to have Ross Chastain as that selection. My next one, we have Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher. I'm going to be going with Ryan Blaney here as he's in the lineup, obviously, in the long run speed. And then I feel we have the self-explanatory pick between Ryan Preece and Zane Smith. I'll be going Ryan Preece all the way. No offense to Zane Smith, but the speed really is not there. And then between Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick, I'm going Tyler Reddick. As you know, Reddick's in the lineup. I think the 22 will do good. He had a top 10, but Reddick's honestly the obvious pick here in my opinion. So that's my lineup. I wish we could put Denny Hamlin in, but it is what it is. I could have considered Byron, but I think we need to start taking some chances here as we've been falling behind. So let's get to the track. So there's the track. I just want to say I honestly forgot the traffic pattern for this race is horrible. I completely forgot that 2 years because it took me close to an hour just being 3 miles away from the track to get in here. So we're not going to miss the race at all. We got the same outfit since Talladega. It won't change.
How you doing, man?
Good, fam. Appreciate it. Take it easy.
Have to use their blinker.
Woo! Tennessee, the sun does shine on Music City, and Claire.
Oh, I saw her too.
Yeah.
That was good for him. Do me up. Rip it. I don't give a shit. No. Come on, pull
Unfortunately, coming to the green flag, my iPhone crashed and went into a hard reset due to overheating. So unfortunately, I missed the first 15 laps of the race. And the GoPro footage I used was corrupted at the time, which is also due to the overheating. So to catch you up, the race went green with Chase Briscoe as the leader. AJ Allmendinger would have to serve a pass-through penalty due to his car chief messing around during practice and qualifying. And JJ Yaley's car also would not fire at the start of the race and had to be pushed to the garage. For the start of stage 2, I wanted to make up for earlier and show off the action, so enjoy this uncut footage. due to the GoPro issue I was having earlier, I'm doing a voiceover for this one. So after the first stage, I ended up putting Brad Keselowski into the garage, and I brought Chase Elliott into my lineup. Alright, y'all. Believe it or not, Ryan Blaney ends up getting the win. My senses end up panning out. I have not looked at how fantasy looked officially. I'm not too confident, honestly. Denny Hamlin did not leave the race, so fortunately we could have taken that risk after all. So lose some points there, unfortunately, because of other issues. But overall, enjoyed the race. First stage, not too much. We lost the start of the race footage, so I tried my best to make up for it in stage 2. A lot of crashes in stage 2, and then once we got into stage 3, eventually it was pretty clean, and we saw Ryan Blaney pretty much just run away. And we also saw Carson Hocevar find his way in second. I'm not actually sure how he did that. I know he's creeping up through the field, but I don't know how he got second. But other than that, heading to the car. We're gonna get something to eat, head back to the St. Louis, and then I would say tomorrow, probably afternoon, before I start editing this, we'll do my final thoughts. All right, we have made it back. So let's give my final thoughts on the race. I enjoyed being out there as per usual. At Nashville, I kind of forgot how most of the car speeds, they tend to be even. There's not too much passing. So it's an interesting type of race. It's basically a track position race, and you got to find strategy to get up to the front. There wasn't really much tire wear. In the first stage, it was very quiet, honestly. We saw a round of green flag pit stops, and we saw Ryan Blaney use some strategy, which got him up to the front. And into stage 2, we just started wrecking the cars like crazy. Just felt like non-stop, honestly. So I don't think that did anything negative to the race, honestly. I think we still got a good long green flag run. And then going on to the final stage, we got to settle in. We saw Ryan Blaney up front, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. So I had a good feeling at the end of the day. It ended up being between them. And then I'm not sure what happened on the pit stop, but Carson Hocevar ended up finding his way up the second. I'm not even sure how he leapfrogged Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and other cars, because he had to pass more than those two. I believe he was 6th at the time and got up the second. But once Hocevar got into traffic and then got passed by Austin Dillon on the fresher tires, everyone just seemed even, and Hocevar couldn't gain the Blaney any more than what he did. He gained about 2-3 seconds, and then Hamlin gained up to him, but Hamlin couldn't pass. So overall, we saw that dirty air is an issue, tire wear is an issue. I still think this race was better than Kansas, because I do like at this track how it is close. You are fighting hard with lap cars, honestly. But overall, it was a good race. Not the greatest. It had good action. The attention span was really good. I also heard the Amazon Prime broadcast was great too. When I was taking videos on my phone, when I'd glance at the TV screens around the track, they were capturing exactly what I was capturing. So really proud of the guys at Amazon Prime. They are doing a great job. Unfortunately, we only have 3 more races left with Amazon Prime, but it has been great to have them along. So I hate that I missed out on the commentary, but it's always great to be at the racetrack. Coming up, my next race will be at Indianapolis for the NASCAR In-Season Tournament final, which is also the Brickyard 400. So a big race, and that probably will make it a little more of a bigger race than the Brickyard 400 usually is. Coming up also, before Atlanta, if it's even called Atlanta, if you've seen the rumor going around, I will release a video featuring my NASCAR In-Season Tournament predictions. So in the next 3 races, they'll end up seeding them. We have the 32. Keselowski beats out Shane Van Gisbergen as expected. So we'll see how the seeding plays out. I don't think it matters, honestly. And then we'll post prediction videos. So hope you enjoyed the Nashville content. Sorry I couldn't get the start of the race, so I did my best to make up for it. And other than that, I hope everyone here has a blessed day and you have a good one. Take care.